Hey guys, welcome to the next video. So we left off with all the information that we needed for our character in regards to the upper legs, and now let's get that or put that into practice. I'm gonna isolate the upper legs right here so that it's easier for us to work with just the areas that we need. And first things first, let's place our bones. So for the bones, if you remember, one of the most important ones, it's the pelvis. And one of the things that we're gonna have here, it's the iliac spine, remember? Now the iliac spine will not look like the clavicles, it will look like a dimple. Again, remember the balloon thing that we've been talking about. And from that point, I will start drawing the direction of the quads. Now if you remember, we mentioned that it has like this teardrop kind of shape. So I'm just gonna follow that shape right there, and there we go. Simple as that. Just fill that in so that we get a little bit more volume on our legs. Again, as always, it depends on the type of character. If you remember, like Chun-Li from Street Fighter, she has like massive thighs. So it all depends on what you want to achieve. Now here on the side, I'm gonna add a little bit of volume for the vastus lateralis. I'm gonna add a little bit of volume here for the vastus medialis, and just a little bit of volume here for the rectus femoris, and then smooth. There we go, like so. Now from this, remember, this will all throw this big giant tendon to the lower leg. So we will see these lines, and you saw them in the reference. I have them right here. Let's go back to upper leg here. See that line there? Like this. You will see that line. It's very important because remember, we have this big connective tissue on the outside called the extensor fasciae latae, giving us a lot of tension, yeah, on the side of the body. So we will have those changes in form. Now for the patella, again, drawing the patella there, and then triangular shape for the tibia, a little bit of a leg there going down, a little divot here, a little divot there, a little bulge here, a little bulge there, and then just smooth everything out to get like that abstract looking shape. We'll keep on refining that. It's not final, just to get it going. I'm gonna use my trim dynamic to soften the muscle a little bit, because we're working a little bit more resolution now. I haven't increased the level of Dynamesh, but we've been doing that since we started, so it's getting a little bit more difficult to work with. And it's not the end of the world, but it is a little bit complicated. Now, important notice in regards to the genitalia. It is not important, and actually it's not recommended to sculpt a very specific genitalia. The reason is we are instinctively attracted or hardwired to reproduce. That's part of our nature. So if you draw genitalia or you sculpt genitalia in any character, female, male, if you do a goblin and you sculpt their genitalia, people are only gonna look at that, and it sucks when you have a great looking sculpture and all they talk about it's their genitalia. So don't do it. It's just not useful in this case. It won't really add anything to your character unless you're doing like an anatomical study. And to be fair, most of the time everything is going to be hidden. I don't think I've ever played a game where the bottom genitalia has been exposed. Boobs sometimes, and in several games there are depiction of boobs, but in this case all the genitalia for either males or females I haven't really seen. The butt, you will sometimes see the butt. I think in The Witcher they do show the butts quite a bit, but other than that it's not really something you will see. One of the reasons is the rating, of course. I believe if you do show it, you need to up your rating from M to adults only, and that definitely hurts the sales. So studios are not eager or do not want that, of course. Now on the inner side of the legs, I'm gonna add a little bit of a bulge here. Remember, this is all the connective tissue that we get from all the different muscles. So the sartorius, the semitendinous, some of the abductors. Like there's one called the gracile, I think. There are a lot of muscles in the inner part of the leg that they're not necessary for us as artists because they're deeper in the whole volume, but it is important for us to sculpt. And I am gonna add that bulge here, the volume, and I'm gonna bring my trim dynamic here, and I'm gonna add the straightness on this side, so that I see straight and round right there. A little bit more, there we go. This line, I think I'm gonna soften it up a little bit. I see enough plane change there that I know it's gonna work. And I don't want this to be extremely weird. Now here, it's important to straighten this a little bit, not that much, but just a little bit, because again, the volume of the muscle is up here, and after that volume is done, you're gonna throw the tendon, and tendons are very thin, so you won't see a big deal there. Now here, this is where we have our baseball glove. So this is where I would have my little thing pushing out. I will have my gluteus medium right there, and gluteus, let's get rid of that, because remember, it's not a protrusion, it's more like a dimple, so it's medius, and then gluteus maximus. I like to bring my gluteus maximus slightly lower, because I believe sometimes it looks very, very close. And now for this part of the character, you need to be very careful. Again, you need to think, are we gonna see it, or is she gonna always be wearing like a underwear? Because if we're not gonna see it, then it's not really that necessary to go super in detail with the line here. You can use the inflate brush. However, since we're still in Dynamesh and we might do some remeshing later on, this is gonna pretty much just bring everything back together, or it's gonna erase whatever detail we're sculpting right now. I usually wait until we clean topology to do the detail there. I personally do like to soften a lot here. Most females do have cellulitis, I believe it's called, where the skin looks a little bit stretched. They usually have stretch marks. It's completely normal. Media has us believing that, or makes us believe that perfect legs and perfect butts are supposed to be completely smooth, but the reality of things is that every woman has a little bit of imperfections there, which are not really imperfections, it's just the natural part of the body. So it's not, it doesn't matter if the thing you're sculpting is not completely round or completely perfect. Again, as with always, it will depend on the client. Some clients want perfection and want everything to look like a Barbie girl, so like a Barbie. So just follow directions. If you're doing a character, I suggest you stick a little bit more to realism. Now here, I think it looks weird. I think it's either too extreme or not extreme enough. I might need to see a little bit more reference, but I think we're missing a little bit of volume here. I feel like maybe I miscalculated the proportions there, and now it looks like her butt is way too low. Yeah, I think that was it. So let's just add a little bit more volume softly, and again, try to get that like tapering thing. It's not completely round. It's not two pairs of zero. That looks horrendous. If you see it from like 3/4, you should see the curvature becoming the big mass of the butt here. It's not gonna be completely. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of a belly there. And I think her hips are a little bit too wide. This is an important thing. Depending on the type of character you're gonna do, some female characters have very... let me see if I have it. Yeah, some female characters have this very nice looking smooth curve all along, and others will have like a little divot there. I personally think female characters look a little bit better with the smooth curve, but it's very normal to have like a little bit of a change there. So this hip right there, I'm pretty much covering the iliac crest and getting rid of the obliques a little bit. So I don't want to get completely rid of them. Maybe just an indication there that there's something there. But this allows us to have like it looks like the legs are longer than they actually are, because it makes it look like the legs come all the way here to the top. Now, one important thing that you're going to notice is that we're not working with the anatomical or the anatomically correct position. We have the legs slightly apart, and this is good for us because it's better for rigging, and later on when we do like some accessories, we will have a little bit of it's going to be easier to keep symmetry this way. However, in order to know whether it looks okay or if the hips are too big, what we can do is just mask the legs, the hips, move the pivot to the femur to where the great trochanter pretty much connects, and just bring this together and see whether this curvature is okay or not. For me, I think it's a little bit too wide and it shows there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my move brush and I'm just gonna push, or even not the broom, I'm gonna grab the trim dynamic. I'm just gonna get rid of a little bit of curvature there. Now I do want the pelvis to show. Now that I think of it, it kind of looks weird without it. Looks kind of alien. So I'm just gonna cut this again to where the obliques kind of rest on top of the pelvis. Most of this is not even gonna be visible because we're gonna have a dress, but it's important for you to take note of it, because otherwise it's just gonna look, it's gonna look weird. Now going to the back here, the important part that we have, sorry, is this triangular looking shape here. So we're gonna cross this triangle here, and remember we can just project like a straight line here. This is gonna be my bicep femoris right there, and throw in femur, or its tendon down there. I'm gonna use the trim dynamic to clean this up a little bit. All of this. Actually, I don't really need to do a lot of things. Most of it, since it's an area that's supposed to be flat, most of it's already taken care of. So just a little bit of more volume there, the inner side of the leg, so that it shows that I know that my divisions are there. A little more. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. So trim dynamic, bring that down. There you go, that works a little bit better. Let's push this in just a little bit. There we go. Soften this up. We can come in with the Damien Standard, the dimples again. And then we have like a triangle. You can see in the reference, whoop, you got like this triangle looking thing. So that's what I'm going for. Let's erase that. Actually, there we go. We can then use like the pinch brush. BPI is the shortcut, just to bring that together. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect. It's just for us to make sure that it sticks to realism. That's a little. And again, now that we've finished the legs, similar to what happened with the arms, we can go back and start seeing stuff and say, okay, you know what, the lower back looks kind of weird. Let me give it another pass here. Let me a little bit volume here, volume there, just to make sure that everything is looking as nice as possible. This is a continuous work in progress. You will never finish working on all the areas at the same time. You will finish one area and then come back to the next, check how everything is looking together, and then just keep moving from there. But right now it's looking like a very realistic character. If you think that the legs are a little bit too big for your taste, don't worry, we can bring them down, and we can even bring the hips or the hourglass figure a little bit down. It's not a big change, but it does make a difference depending on how realistic or stylized you want to go with your character. I want to push it just a little bit into the stylistic realm. At the end of the day, she's a goddess, so she's supposed to be out of this world, right? Now let's do a little bit of fixing there. This is where the extensor fascia latae will be. Sometimes we get that little extra volume there. Yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, so it's looking really nice so far. We are pretty much done with the upper leg. For now, we're gonna jump into the lower legs, which is actually gonna be really, really easy. It's not a difficult human part. Well, one thing I do recommend here. I do recommend coming here with the Damien Standard and kind of pushing the butt in, because same thing as with the boobs, it does not just flow into the leg, it kind of falls on top of it. So we do need to have a little bit of extra volume here on the underside, because by gravity this is where most of the mass would pretty much find itself. There we go. Of course, textures of surface, render, and everything we'll see and we'll explore later on will help all of this get into a better position. But right now, I'm really happy where the sculpture is. Hopefully, your sculpture is looking close to this or as close as possible. Even better, if it's better, excellent. I'm doing this a little bit fast, to be honest. Usually I would take my time to sculpt the character, and I will probably, as I mentioned earlier, I'll probably do a little bit of tweaks here and there on the off screen, so that I don't steal as much time from you guys. I know sometimes the lectures can be a little bit long, but I'm trying to keep them as compact as possible for your enjoyment. Anyway, we'll stop the video right now, and I'll see you guys in the next lecture. Well, we'll talk about the lower legs. So happy sculpting, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.